This is Jed McKay, and you're listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast.
Yes, welcome back, loony listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 353, and you're with your High Priest of Khonshu, Ray. G'day, everybody. Now, in the lead up to the show, I had said that the power of Chad, a long time loony and fellow co-host, would be joining. Unfortunately, Chad's had to step away just for particular reasons, wasn't able to make it. So hopefully we can have Chad back again soon. But tonight, the moon wanes against his appearance. So Chad, hope to catch you soon. And sorry you can't make it for this one. But everybody, we have got a humdinger tonight, because I'm just going to update my banners now. We are going to look at the latest and greatest. We're going to look at, we've got a Moonshine, and we're looking at Moon Knight FIST of Khonshu issue 1. So yeah, a new era. This should be fun. Hello, hey Mario, how you going? Must be early for you over there. I'm not too sure. Hopefully you're okay, you're well rested. Which reminds me, thank you, Mario. I think I've got some feedback from yourself. So we'll get to that soon for this issue, which is a very cool issue to chat about. I would love to see what everyone thinks of it. I've certainly got a few things to say about it. Don't worry, they're all good. But yeah, just you bear with me at the moment. I'm slightly not ready. I just want to grab the feedback where I can find it. But anyway, I'll get to that soon. Yes, welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I know we haven't been as frequent as usual, but there's a lot of new Moon Knight stuff, Moon Knight material to go through. So I'm quite excited to share it with all the fellow loonies. I have been jumping into Discord and seeing what people have been thinking. It's all very cool. We've got plenty of stuff ahead. One of the bits of news, I guess, that did break, and Rebecca did point me towards it, is a little bit of a sad day. We got the announcement that Alessandro Cappuccio will be finishing up on Moon Knight. It's been about 3 years he's been on it with Jed McKay. They've built up a fantastic canon in their own right, and a body of work for Moon Knight that people are putting up there, up high, and I don't blame them as well. I mean, we talk about okay, sorry, that was my cat. Yes, Flippy is here. If it's not Aussie, it's Flippy. Anyway, the light has gone. That's okay. It's all happening here. Anyway, you can watch me in the dark. And I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, it is Alessandro Cappuccio. Last issue, his run is finished. They have, as I mentioned, created a body of work that I think is up there. I mean, we talk about Houston, we talk about Ellis, we talk about, of course, Doug Mensch, Jed McKay's. I mean, not only because it is technically one of the longest, if not the longest running, I think, barring, change of titles and, that sort of thing. Jed has done so much for the character, but not only Jed, Alessandro Cappuccio, and someone put it really well in one of the social, I think it was in Discord, saying it's as much Alessandro's book as it is Jed. And I believe that too. I mean, we talk about Alessandro's artwork and the synchronicity it has with Rochelle Rosenberg's colors, which have been absolutely phenomenal. And it's that sort of visual, I guess, impression that we get of this run that has affected, I guess, a lot of us to really enjoy and love the run. So it's a really sad day to hear. Of course, artists do have to move on. And from everyone, I'm sure everyone in the Looney community, from the bottom of our hearts, wish Alessandro Cappuccio the very best. A huge thank you to Alessandro for all his amazing creativity and effort as well. I do remember Jed McKay saying he didn't know if Alessandro would do that Scarlet stained glass Scarlet issue, because there was like a very intricate kind of mosaic of artwork, but Alessandro, he pumped it out. So full credit as well. Yeah, and just want to wish you all the very best, Alessandro, and thank you. I've heard some great things at conventions about Alessandro. People have been meeting up with him and getting him to sign stuff, and he's a really nice guy. I've never met him, but for me, he sounds like a really nice guy as well. So a huge thank you to Alessandro there. Yes. So other than that, some news. I did get some I saw some solicits as well. We get some solicits for other Moon Knight issues down the track, phases of the Moon Knight, and I think FIST of Khonshu as well. I mean, they kind of bubble along as always. But apart from that, not much news. There's always the rumblings of Moon Knight, in the MCU again. But I'm not holding my breath at any of that. So, love what was offered, love what was done. But yeah, done is done. Hopefully we do get something in some iteration. We know that he's Oscar Isaac's going to voice Moon Knight, so that's good. But yeah, at the moment, we've got so many good comics. I mean, let's just focus on all of that as well. So with that, and look, it is just me, so I don't know how long we can, I can talk about this. What I'm going to do though is I am going to set up. I do have a digital version of the comic, so I'm going to put that up soon. Not now, soon. And yeah, let's get into a bit of Moonshine, shall we? Let's have a look at the latest comic. Hello, yes, I'm back. Mario, so I can always type yes. I'm not sure what that was in reference of, but thank you, Mario. Thank you. Yes, Mario can actually bounce some ideas off me. That would be great. Thank you, Mario. So anyway, we are looking at Moon Knight, Fists of Khonshu. Cannot wait. I do have my copy. I haven't jumped into my LCS yet. King's Comic, the greatest comic book shop in the known universe. But when I do, I will pick it up, and I have got the regular issue, which is what you see in front of you. We are live streaming this on video, so podcast listeners, you are listening to this probably slightly delayed, but hopefully not too far delayed. Hopefully I'll get it out soon enough. But yeah, and of course, everybody, guys, as always, spoilers. Okay, so you're going to be spoiled. So if you haven't read it, please, and you don't want to be spoiled, just look away or do something, and come back and let us know what you think, or come back and watch this. Anyway, I'm already starting to ramble. It's only like 10 minutes in. So we got a beautiful cover here. The cover is by David Paratore, who Rebecca and I talking about before, is an awesome artist. I really love the detail here. He's actually got, I see a little Khonshu head. If you look at the little background of this desktop wallpaper, there's a Khonshu head on the end of his staff, which is pretty cool. Moon Knight is looking pretty cool himself. So we have writer, of course, Jed McKay, artist Alessandro Cappuccio, color artist Rochelle Rosenberg, letterer VC's Corey Pettit. As I mentioned, we have David Paratore as cover artist. Now, there are variant covers, and my gosh, I'm going to have to catch up with these. I kind of cut down on my my pull list, or I think it's only in Australia. We call it a standing order. I've cut down on the standing order, which I know. I mean, it's financial reasons. I hope to get back to it soon, but that means I haven't been getting the variants, and we've got a fair few here from Paolo Sequeira, Rochelle Rosenberg. It's a silver foil. Oh my god, I got to get that. There's a Scotty Young one, Lionel Francis Yu, and Romulo Fajardo Jr. There's a Stephen Platt one, which I think was featured in, someone posted it up a while ago, and a Ken Lashley and a Romulo Fajardo Jr. Again, Ken Lashley is awesome. For those that have been following, a little plug to Predator and Prey, the Ucha podcast, which I do with the Ho2 clan. You know that Ken Lashley is doing the Predator versus Black Panther at the moment, and it's phenomenal. So yeah, great. Some great variant covers there. We've got editor Devin Lewis, of course, as well. So that rounds out the credits. Now, kind of in a nutshell as well. Hang on, let me just. I might as well. Why am I racing through this, Ray? I've got myself a nice little whiskey here. I'm going to take my time with this. This is a good issue. This is called New Moon, and this was released last, I'm going to say Wednesday, just gone, to the 23rd of October, 2024. I haven't got wiki, so I don't know what the release, like the cover date is. It's probably a little bit later. Oh, that's nice. A little plug to Starward. It's a Victorian a whiskey that I'm drinking tonight. So Victoria, the state of Victoria. I'm not sure if people outside of Australia realize there is a place called Victoria. That's where Melbourne is a part of. Melbourne City. So yeah, Starwood, very great whiskey. Anyway, so we've got New Moon here, Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu. Let me just read out the synopsis on the comic. Okay, it's not going to really give us a nutshell of what happened, but I'm going to go through the comic because I'm by myself and I can take my time with it. So, Mark Spector died, sacrificing himself to save New York City. In his absence, Reese, Soldier, 8-Ball, Tigra, and Hunter's Moon banded together to keep the Midnight Mission running and carry on Moon Knight's legacy. Together, they defended Moon Knight's territory and protected the innocent from both a bloody vampire invasion and from a violent, false Moon Knight, as the former villain Shroud attempted to usurp Mark's mantle. It was not long before fate and Khonshu himself intervened to resurrect Mark and restore him to his place as the true Moon Knight on Earth. But the power struggle between Khonshu and his most difficult child continues. Currently, though, they both have more pressing matters to attend to. Moon Knight's long absence has led those who would prey on the innocent and travelers of the night to grow too confident and bold in their criminal endeavors. It's time to let them know that Moon Knight is back. Long live Moon Knight. Yes, absolutely. Aha. Mario, thank you so much. Mario's kind of like, and I mean this in the best way possible, the guy in the chair. Like, you know, your microchip, Mario, or, you know, I don't know. Feeding this information is great. So Mario just jumped in. Cover date is December 2024. I knew it was a little bit after this. So 23rd of October, release date, cover date, December 2024. Thank you, my kind sir. So that was the synopsis. Now, yeah, so this is great. Basically, this, before I get into it, and I just want to give a nutshell because yeah, I want to just give a summary before we dive in, because so then I can bounce around. But anyway, what happens is a Moon Knight's back, and he's actually after this drug pusher who has introduced a drug called glitter into onto the streets, and it's kind of filters its way through to the area or the streets where the Midnight Mission, where Moon Knight's territory is. So this, of course, has grabbed Moon Knight's attention. So he, as Mr. Knight, is going around looking for the particular head honcho who is the pusher. And it is a gentleman called, oh my gosh, I can't, Fairchild, something, Achilles Fairchild. Let me see. Let me just jump ahead. Sorry. Let me just jump ahead. So Moon Knight kind of makes his way through to find the lead guy here, which is Achilles Fairchild. There he is, looking, understandably drug dealer-ish with an open shirt. I mean, if you're not John Travolta in the 70s, actually, I do see a lot of people wear open kind of shirts, which is very brazen. I mean, you've got to be able to flaunt it right if you have it. Anyway, so Moon Knight goes up to him face to face and tells him to stop pushing the drugs in his area. All the while, as an offside, we do get a classic character return. Thank you, Jed McKay. We get Detective Flint, and he is in talks with Fraser, who's a new, I guess, a police officer, detective. Flint has since retired or gone out of the police force, and Fraser is kind of grilling him, trying to get some information about Moon Knight. Turns out that Fraser, she's sniffing and coughing the whole way. Turns out she is under the spell of the glitter drug. She is addicted, and she is doing favors for Achilles Fairchild in order to get intel on Moon Knight. So I like this is very cool. This is like, I mean, straight off the bat, I'm just going to move this. Apologies for people watching the visual, and apologies for me flipping back and forth. This is great. I mean, my first impressions was I really love this. What Jed has done to me, he's established. I mean, after all the stuff that Jed and Alessandro have done, what he's done now is he's established a really street level Moon Knight. I mean, we've just had vampires and all that. We've had the Shroud as a new Moon Knight. Now I love it how, just to kind of settle us back in and to open up the new series as FIST of Khonshu, to me, we get a very reminiscent issue of, the Munch era, the Mensch, era, where it's Moon Knight doing street level stuff. He's not doing anything too outside the norm. Like, I'm thinking even with Houston's run, it was street level, but then you had immediately kind of Jeff Wild as Midnight kind of come in and introduce that kind of, we are in the Marvel Universe kind of feel. This is, for all intents, a drug dealer, a drug pusher, and Moon Knight kind of wanting to stop that. So I like it how it's kind of returned to that kind of just bare-fisted fights. And we do see Mr. Knight is very cool. Alessandro draws him immaculately. I love the dialogue here. I've got to shout out, there's a person on Discord named Jerr, Jer, and he's not in the Moon Knight platforms, but he's in one of the Marvel Champions, the card game platforms that I'm in. And I told him that I did a Moon Knight podcast, and he's, wow, this is cool. So, Jer, I hope you're listening. But yeah, he said the dialogue, like, Jed just slayed the dialogue, and it's in the opening here. That's so funny. I love it. Mr. Knight goes up to the club where Fairchild is, and the bouncer's saying, there's a dress code, and Mr. Knight just says, impossible. I'm dressed to kill. That's so cool. There are a couple of nice little hero shots there. Yeah, I love it how Jed just has fun with it. It's, a little tongue in cheek. It's kind of almost like James Bond, corny, but it's so fun. It's so cool to see your hero act pretty cool. But anyway, that's the first point. I really love how, it's been grounded, no supervillains. It just starts with him kind of storming the bar or the club that Fairchild's in. He gets through the first bouncer. He steps over the bouncer on the door that the bouncer is under. I mean, that's pretty cool. And what I love here is that Jed just establishes that, the real Moon Knight, the Moon Knight that all criminals feared, he's back and he should be feared. I mean, this is what I love. I think Jed kind of cultivated this towards the end, and maybe it perforated throughout his run, but I think more so towards the end and more recently, he's really trying to reinforce this idea that, Mark's back, the real Moon Knight's back. And this is when, pardon the French, but when all the criminals shit themselves, because he really is a phenomenon. And I think Flint calls him like a force of nature, like a hurricane. And I never thought of him like that because, you'd think, I don't know. To me, I think like the Hulk is a force of nature. I mean, he literally can do damage like a hurricane. He can destroy a city. But I guess not just physically, but I think on all aspects, Mr. Knight, Moon Knight does that. To street level villains, at least, he really does dominate them all. Very similar to the way that Punisher almost dominates to the extreme, all the criminals as well. So I really love that. And then we quickly shift to the discussions of Frasier and Detective Flint. And for anyone thinking, because I'm sniffing now myself, I know I'm not addicted to glitter myself. I know that was a reveal at the end for Frasier, but not for Ray. Okay, not for Uncle Ray. I've got a cold. That's what she might be saying. I don't know. It might be the dry air. I've got the heater on. But anyway, Detective Flint, who's looking younger than ever before. Just as an aside, what I really loved about Detective Flint in, I think it's a Houston run, or could have been even the Benson. I think it was a Houston and Benson followed on, was that his dialogue, he'd always go, sure, yeah, right, sure. I wish I could have seen a bit more of that from Flint here, but of course I appreciate Jed's take on, as any writer would take on the character. They don't have to be obligated to bring across what little nuances and idiosyncrasies other writers put in. But anyway, so he is having a conversation with Frasier, and she's kind of against Moon Knight, obviously a bit dubious of him. She thinks that he's what do you call him, like a cult leader and a terrorist. Well, Flint says, he's not that. He's more than that. So anyway, they go on it for a bit, but that is kind of interchanged with Mr. Knight just making his way through the bar / club. And again, I've got, look at these gorgeous colors by Rachel Rosenberg and the artwork. I mean, the artwork's actually reminiscent. Like, I got to say, some of the stuff that Alessandro does, if you look at the top panel with the backgrounds and stuff, he's got the realistic things, almost like an Alex Maleev. He's got a mix of Alex Maleev and then he's got the more kind of, his own style of Mr. Knight. But we just get some kick-assery here. Mr. Knight just does his thing, takes it out. He looks very dark and opposing here. I love how he's just very white as you turn over the page. Everything else is dark, so he really does stand out. And that's a theme we'll see in another one of it, culminates in another one of his famous sayings as well. So anyway, Frasier's just, it's hard to kind of talk about this now because we know what, I've just spoiled what happens, what Frasier is all about. But anyway, so she's kind of questioning Flint and she's kind of getting under his goat. She's trying to get stuff, but he's not really giving stuff to her. Like Flint is talking about how Moon Knight saved the city. He actually killed himself to save everyone. But she's not having that. She doesn't really have that. And then we get a nice little quick summary of his congregation, all in one panel. which is pretty cool. So we get Reese, Soldier, Hunter's Moon. He gets 2 panels, Tigra, and we get 8 Ball. That's his team, and Fraser uses that as evidence or more fodder to show that Moon Knight is like a cult leader. The impressionable teenager, the guy who had a whole lot of prize before him. You've got a moon cultist as well. You've got the fall from grace superhero, and then you just got this loser 8 Ball. So she makes a case that Moon Knight is that. We get this beautiful splash shot of Moon Knight. And I don't know. I've got to say, I've not seen Mr. Knight as cool looking as that. He's actually got proper shoes there now as well. Oh, I think he always did. I think it's Declan Shelby's Moon Knight, not Mr. Knight. They had Crocs. But he's got the proper attire. They're looking very dapper. So just some fights, and as the talk goes through, as Fraser and Flint are talking about Mr. Knight. So anyway, as I said, Moon Knight makes his way. He's got like heaps of thugs in front of him, but we're introduced to not one but 2 characters actually. Achilles Fairchild, who is the drug pusher, and it looks like the silent but deadly bodyguard Carver, and she has a history as well, which I think culminates in her obtaining, is it maybe an Asgardian sword? Because he gives her a little bit of a history. We get a bit of an origin for her in just a few sentences from Fairchild. I just want to point out before I go on as well, this beautiful splash page. Not only is it a nice establishing shot for Achilles Fairchild and Carver to the side, but we're looking at it from behind Mr. Knight's for his back. And so what we do get, though, is there's a mirror behind Achilles Fairchild. We get Mr. Knight's reflection in that, looking at. So it's a really smart way to actually see all the main players, like all looking at you, so to speak. I found that was pretty smart. So anyway, as I mentioned, they do have. This is where Mr. Knight introduces us, the readers, about the glitter, the drugs, and yes, as I said, Moon Knight doesn't want any part of that in his territory, so he's going to stop them. It's interesting to note as well. It might be something for things to come. Fairchild mentions, he used to box, and Moon Knight said, "Yeah, I used to box as well." And they almost throw down. I love it when Fairchild stands up next to Moon Knight, and you can actually see he's a big fella. Like he's if Moon Knight is a middleweight, he looks definitely like a heavyweight. He's a big guy, and he said, "I'd love to have you fight you in the ring sometime." Also, as well, a little bit of background on Fairchild. He grew up in the country. He had nothing. Basically, he had to build everything from the ground up to where he is today. So you get a bit of a sense of, I guess, his side of the story. But he looks ruthless. He prefers not to dirty his hands with anything. Yet there's another great shot here later on of Carver where she kind of, I guess shows her hand by drawing the sword up to Mr. Knight's neck. And there's a really cool, you get the reflection of Mr. Knight on that sword as she looks at him. Of course, Mr. Knight, Mark, doesn't flinch. But this is where he tells her of, what is it? He says she was Roxxon Corporate Military Special Forces, and she's the only one of her unit to survive a combat mission into some place called Vanheim. So that, to me, that sounds Asgardian. Mario, I'm not too sure. Oh, sorry, I've got a few things here from Mario I didn't notice. Mario also mentioned, sorry, Mario, from the outside, though she's not actually wrong. Yeah, true. Yeah, Frasier. I mean, you can look at it like, through Frasier's eyes, and you can't. It can be looked like that. Of course, we know the other story, so we're kind of tainted by our perspective. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, what Frasier says, an outsider could see that totally. I wanted to call attention, and Mario also continues. I wanted to call attention to the new fancy truncheon. Yeah, yes, the weaponry, which is great, which looked like a standard truncheon. But what we get is that he actually goes up to one of the goons and it kind of like disassembles into some like jagged chain, which is really cool. And it's a follow up to, oh gosh, was it? It was the Bemis run where he had those wraparound swords around his belt, which I thought was really cool. We've got to see a lot more Moon Knight Arsenal, I think. I know times are tough. He's not like the Stephen Grant. He doesn't have buckets of money now, but I'd love to see some more gadgets. Mario also has yes, War of the Realms. Yes. Yeah, Roxxon this is a great tie-in then. So Roxxon invaded Vanheim in the War of the Realms arc in the Mighty Thor, Volume 3. Carver was likely part of that group. That's an awesome deep dive, and thank you, Mario. War of the Realms. I only kind of touched here and there on that arc, but it looked like a lot of fun. I followed the was it the Punisher? I think Black Knight as well, and Juggernaut. Vaguely remember that. That was a lot of fun. But Punisher was really cool. But thank you, Mario. As I take another whiff of glitter. I mean, I've got a cold. Anyway. So Carver, nice callback. She looks badass. She's got a big sword. Haven't seen much of it. She's a strong silent type, so I'm sure we'll see much of her later on. I love this. This leads up to one of my favorite, or the favorite bit in this book. Fairchild figures out, like, he goes, hang on. You didn't come here just for that, did you? Like, there's something else that you came here for. What is it? What does he say? He says, you coming to warn me, putting all your cards on the table. What's it really about? And Mr. Knight says, you got me. And he goes, I like it when they see me coming. That is fantastic. Like, talk about, if you want to strike terror, this is like the thing you do. This is what Moon Knight does. And he does this in a very personal way now. Like, this is a nice twist on, just the generic, he's dressed in white so villains can see him coming. He actually sits down with the drug pusher, talks with him in a very kind of calm manner, threatens him basically to stop doing what he's doing, or he will stop him. Moon Knight Mr. Knight will stop him himself. He does that in your face. Like, who does that? He goes into the lion's den, and he beats up all the bodyguards and such to get up to him to say that. And then, I mean, I guess any other criminal would go up to him or try to take him out now. You know what? You're right in the middle of my territory, surrounded by hundreds of soldiers. Wouldn't you just like take him down now? Anyway, I do love the effect that Mr. Knight, how Mr. Knight has gone about this. So well done, Mark. Well done. We kind of get then. That was the end. I think when we get like an epilogue of sorts of Frasier. She gets a phone call. She goes into a car. Very kind of reminiscent of some things you see. And I don't know this reference here, Mari. I don't know if you know it, because she's talks about Cowboy Flint. He's from Gowanus. I don't know what that is. Sounds like a place that could be in Australia. But anyway, it's revealed again. We see Carver and we see Fairchild in the limo. The very big limos are very big. So, but she is under the spell of the glitter. So Fairchild wants to know or he actually is paying. He wants her to kind of bring Moon Knight down through her channels. So I guess not only. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, it's Gowanus. She spelled. I think that was a typo then, didn't she? Wasn't it spelt G-O? Or maybe I got that wrong. Yeah, G-O. Oh, anyway, a neighborhood in Brooklyn. So he's not really a cowboy, but you know, cowboy in heart. So yeah. Oh no, sorry, Murray. Okay, sorry. Yep, that's okay. Murray just said he accidentally misspelled it. That's fine. But yeah, so we get this tie in, and I love it. It's kind of, it reeks to me of, you know, just street level. Apart from Mr. Knight, who's dressed up in a mask, and there's a big sword. Everything reeks of like really street level kind of. This is cool. Well, this is what I want in Moon Knight. I love the whole Egyptian thing. You know, I love the vampire thing was fun, and I loved introducing that. You know, we got Reese and Soldier now, but yeah, give me a bit of this, just like straightforward street level stuff. I'm sure maybe Fairchild has something more than just boxing prowess. He might be gifted in other ways. We don't know much about glitter as well, so there could be something more to it than that as well. But yeah, that, and then we get the last thing here I just shown. Next month we get issue 2. The cover looks pretty cool. It's all the crew, the team together. Moon Knight in his Moon Knight gear. We got Soldier, Reese, 8-Ball, and Tigra, all fighting what I'm assuming is Carver and Fairchild. So that's pretty cool. All up, this is a good issue. I mean, before I get into quotation marks, and we got one from Mario. What should I give this out of 10? Using the Khonshu rating system, maybe. I really enjoyed this, actually. I'll have to say maybe, I mean, if you're not a Moon Knight fan, right, and if you're trying to grade this on, you know, how long lasting and how timeless or what a masterpiece this is, look, it's a solid bit of comic book writing, right? So I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. I think the art is just beautiful. As far as first issues go, or as I see it, a new chapter in Jed MacKay's saga of Moon Knight. If you look at that, oh, by the way, geez, I think the Moon Knight omnibus by Jed MacKay is out now, so go get it. I might be a bit late to the party. I'm gonna kit things up for that. Anyway, I think it does first issues really well. It starts just very kind of modest in the sense that it's, as I mentioned, it's just like this guy introduced a new villain. He's not over the top. He just seems like a bad dude pushing drugs. I mean, we know drugs are bad, right? So this is something that Moon Knight can really sink his teeth into. So I think 8 out of 10 is really good. And yeah, again, cannot wait to see where this goes. I love that little connection, Mario, to Vanaheim. Very cool. But yeah, 8 out of 10. So what I might do now is I might look at because I haven't read this, Mario. I haven't read this yet. This was your response. It says here, okay, so this is from Mario. Mario says, Moon Knight FIST of Khonshu 1 manages to serve 2 purposes at the same time, as we not only get an introduction to Mark and his supporting cast, albeit from a somewhat skewed perspective, thanks to Fraser, Detective Flint's replacement on the Freak Beat. Oh, that's right, the Freak Beat. I love that term. But also a brand new foe in Achilles Fairchild, a smug drug dealer with ties to the fairy realm. Oh, why did you think that, Mario? Was that because of the glitter, the drugs? Did you mention anything? Anyway, okay. If he does, then he most likely has some sort of powers, right? Actually, given how his name resembles Robin Goodfellow, aka Puck, I wonder just how close those ties are. But I digress. Haha, Puck. Oh well, I hope Puck is. I hope he's not related to Puck in some way because I like Puck from Alpha Flight. Mr. Knight kicks butt. Flint attempts to drop some truth bombs, and it looks like the next attack on the mission will come from an unexpected direction. Jed has hit the ground running while Alessandra and Rochelle continue to kill it on the art. What's not to like? 10 out of 10 easy. Whoa, Mario, fantastic. Well, you got me kind of really, yeah. Okay, so Mario says, yeah, the drug is literal fairy dust. Okay, I'm going to have to read the issue again. I didn't realize it was literal fairy dust. Yeah. But maybe Fairchild knows a fairy. Maybe he's not, anything can, we don't know. But that's a good pickup there, Mario. Thanks for that. Yes. 10 out of 10 though. I'd be hard pressed not to agree. Like I said, 8 out of 10. Yeah, this is a really strong first issue. I'll give it an 8. Maybe bump it up to 8.5. Because I really love it. I really don't know where I take away the 1.5 from. Maybe I don't know. There's no reason for me to take it away. I don't know. I don't know. Apart from Shakespeare, okay, not the one for Alpha Flight. Fair enough. I don't know about the one from Shakespeare. I like the one from Alpha Flight. That's all I'm saying. I thought that was a little nod because Jed, Canadian, Alpha Flight. But okay, I'm not as cultured. I don't know too much Shakespeare. But yes, cool. I like that. I like how I mistook that for Puck from Alpha Flight. Yeah, I didn't even. Yeah, when you said it, I didn't even think. Yeah, I don't think Puck's name's Robin Goodfellow. But yeah, there's reason for that. Anyway, no, thank you, Mario, for that. That was awesome. Let us know what you think. I know there have been people on Discord letting us know what they think. It's been fantastic. People sharing us their views on Alessandro's upcoming impending departure. Very sad as well. But yeah, would really love to hear what you think. I mean, this is a perfect jumping on point to talk about, to get into Moon Knight, to let us know what you think, where you think this direction is going. I mean, I know we have the same writer in Jed, but he, each time he returns to us in a different fashion, i.e. the Moon Knight ongoing series. Then we've got Vengeance of the Moon Knight and now Fist of Khonshu. He takes Moon Knight in a different direction, and that's what I really love. So let us know what you think, where you think this direction's heading, whether you like it or not. I know there'll be some loonies that would really love where this is going to. So yeah, can't stress that enough. Again, apologies for the dark lighting here. My ring light has carked it. But yes, hope you enjoyed that issue as much as I did as well. I will be returning hopefully with Rebecca or Chad, or Rebecca and Chad, for the next iteration of ITK Moon Knight. As always, you can drop us a line on itkmoonnight@gmail.com. Hang on, no. That's old. My brain's working old. You can write to us on feedback@itkmoonnight.com. We're on Facebook, X, we're on YouTube, Discord, Blue Sky. Just hit us up anywhere there. And yeah, happy to chat. I mean, yeah. Mario's got a comment here. I suspect Khonshu's more active participation. Yes, we'll shake things up a bit as well. That's what I love as well. Like Mark, although their relationship is tenuous, Khonshu, Mark has Khonshu's backing, like again, or he's got Dad at the back there taking care of him. So, and also Hunter's Moon, the two fists working in tandem. Love it. But yeah, we're on social media platforms. Let us know what you think. It's awesome. We'll be back. We've still got to do Moon Knight Annual, and check out some more news as well. But a huge thank you, Mario. Thank you so much for tuning in as well. Thank you, one and all. And I guess I'm going to get out of here and sign off with the May Khonshu Watch over the denizens of the night. Catch you later.